My name is Caleb Anderson, and you're listening to Jesus the Overcomer podcast. Hey everyone, I have a very special guest, Nakyah McNeal, and I am so excited to have you on. Thank you for being on.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So I'm going to start off with the question that I ask all my guests. It is, who or what has had the most impact with your walk with Christ?
Yeah, I think starting like from when I was just really, really young, my family, my grandma, she's been, just a part of the church for a long time. And I just call her like our spiritual like matriarch. She just points all things to Christ and has really just made that the foundation of just all the things that we've been taught growing up. And then of course passed that to my mom and then to me and then to my little sister who's 10 years younger than me. So she's just really been kind of like the glue that's just kept us to Jesus all these years. And so she's had a huge impact. And then I think also going to college and kind of taking my walk into like my own hands. Being a part of a campus ministry and like having lots of friends who I know are like minded and who I can just run things by and talk about all the things that are just going on in life. They've also been just a huge impact on my walk very recently.
I love that. I remember your grandmother from when we were in high school, and she was a special woman. I used to love going to your house, and she would be always be in that room,
Hmm.
and just she was always really sweet. So I loved how she's been a good, solid
Hmm.
foundation for putting Christ first.
Yes, for sure.
So before we get into our other questions, I want to talk about how we know each other, our background, our friendship, and start with that.
Yeah. So we both went to the same church for a while, and when I came and first started going, you and your family had been there for a while,
Hmm.
and so coming in, I was just really really shy, and it took me a while to kind of get out of my shell and like meet people. And I think you were probably like my first friend, and so you really pursued me as a friend, and it just really made a huge difference in just the experience that I had at that church, and just we went on all sorts of trips and did a lot of shenanigans and crazy things together. Just had a lot of fun. And so you were definitely someone who brought me out of my shell. And I appreciate you a lot for that.
Yes, well, I appreciate you. When I look back on when we first started hanging out, I remember I remember where we met, and we were at the teens encounter,
Hmm.
and it was like I met you and Deanna the same day.
Yes, we were connected at the hip for a
Yes.
while.
And I just love how God like put y'all there. I felt like that was a shifting point for me. I was homeschooled for 2 years before meeting y'all,
Hmm.
and when I met y'all, it was like a shifting point of making friends because I struggled with making friends and making really good godly friends, but also being able to be myself, not have to put on a face.
Yeah.
I ran to y'all like with all sorts of problems. We had like the greatest times. We went on so many like trips,
Hmm.
but it was a really big shift. Like you and Deanna were a blessing in my life, and y'all still are. Like I just love y'all.
Yeah, no, I can say the same about you. Like, I would never have known, like, thinking back now, like, that struggle with things like anxiety or like getting out of your shell and things like that. Because really, you just pursued us just so well as friends and made us feel so welcome. And so the Lord really used you as well. So that's
Well,
sweet.
I think it's funny that you don't remember my anxiety.
I could tell when you were first, when I was first getting to know you. So again, that's the Lord. But that's great.
Okay, so going into that, I want to talk about your walk with Christ and your background with church. So, how did you like? I know you talked about your grandmother
Hmm.
leading like you and your mom, and she was like a
Yeah.
really good foundation for like you knowing God. But
Hmm.
like, did y'all go to church before I met you?
Yeah, so we went to kind of a family church. So my
Hmm.
grandma's brother is a pastor at another church in town, and so I grew up going to that church, and all of my cousins and all of everyone was in that church. And so that's kind of where I grew up. But I will say, coming to the church that we met at, like that's where I feel like my faith really took off, and I was really kind of able to take it into my own hands, at least in the beginning, and kind of just not be under. I kind of felt like I was under kind of my family's shadow or my grandma's umbrella, and so stepping out of that, I think, was really big, and the Lord definitely used that in the people that He allowed me to meet
Yeah,
at the church.
I love that. So let's talk about the importance of having strong, godly friends who have a good relationship with God and brings you closer to God.
Yeah,
So, like I said, you were one of those people for me in high school and middle school.
yeah.
So, but I just watch you like from afar sometimes, and I'm like, she's such like a really godly friend, and I want to talk about like the importance of that.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a big thing with like godly friends. Like you walk through so many different things, you know, laugh through things, you cry through things,
Hmm.
you know, been there for really like high and lows. And so you're able to like look back and be like, wow, like that's where you were, but like that's where now I can see where the Lord has brought you. And so I think that's so cool. And one cool thing about godly friendship, and you know, the Lord truly places people, I feel like,
Hmm.
in your life at a specific time when you really need them. And like I can say that with you and Deanna. I
Yeah.
can say that with the people that I've met through college. Like the Lord has truly, you know, His provision is the people that He places in your life, and that's just been so evident to me through these last 4 years and beyond through high school and middle school and all those things.
Yes. So, um, with talking about godly friendships, so I know you just graduated college, but did you have like that group of friends that had the same strong faith as you and y'all were just there for each other?
Oh, for sure. So I was a part of a campus ministry. I went to UNC Wilmington, and I just graduated this past May. So glad to be done with that. But I met so many amazing people through a campus ministry that I was a part of called Crew.
Hmm.
And so we did so many things together, but it's just like those small moments are the things that, you know, mean the most to me. Like my love language is quality time. I'm a huge quality time girl. And so just being able to have people that I can call and say like, hey, I'm going to the library. Do you want to study? Or I'm going to Walmart. Do you want to walk with me through Walmart? Because Walmart's a little scary these days. So just having someone to walk alongside with through just the mundane things, but also the big things that go on in life too. I can't even begin to tell you just all the times I would just go to people and say like, hey, this is what's going on in my life, or hey, this big thing happened, which really might just be something small, but this is hurting my feelings, or I'm so excited about this. And so just having those people that I can call up, and again, they just came at such a perfect time. Like the Lord could not have been any sweeter to place these people in my life at just the time that He did. And I'm just could not be more grateful.
I'm so glad. I'm
Yeah.
so glad that you went to college and you had those people like that were those people for you because I know you were far away, like Rocky Mount's your home, but
Yeah.
you went all the way 2 hours away
Yeah.
and you had those people you could lean on.
Hmm.
I love that.
For sure.
So I want to talk about the mission trip you went on. Was it last summer?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little about that mission trip and anything that you learned or that impacted you in your life. I think that was like a really cool opportunity for you.
Yeah, it's definitely like I think was the biggest step of faith that I've ever taken. So I went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and I was there for 2 months, so all summer. And we were working in Gatlinburg. It's a really big touristy kind of town. Well, it's not big, but it's a really touristy town. And so people would come from all over and go to the different places in the mountains or like downtown on the strip and like things like that. And so there would be international students that would also come for the summer and work at these different tourist attractions and things like that. So we were working right alongside the international students, and they were kind of our mission target, was just to get to know them, know the countries they come from, and kind of their culture, and just tell them about Jesus and get to know them, and just all the different things that go on in their life, and just point them, you know, to the Lord through getting to know them and through friendship. And so I think one of the biggest things that I learned was just how, you know, mission is just truly every day, like
Hmm.
seeing how, you know, me going to work every day and talking to this person while I'm having lunch is me being on mission. And so,
Yeah.
and that's the same thing when I come back here, when I came back to North Carolina, and just thinking about, man, when I go to classes, when I go to my job, when I go to church, when I go again to Walmart, there's people there that I can talk to and that I can. I'm on mission, and
Mhm.
and the Lord again places those people, and just divine appointments and all those things. I met so many amazing people from places all over the world that I never would have met before, and just being able to get to know them, and through getting to know them, tell them about Jesus, who's made such a huge impact on my life.
Yeah. I one thing I love that you said was every day is missions. Like when you come back, it's missions.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I often think that every day is ministry.
Mm-hmm.
So people think ministry just sticks at the church. Like
Yeah.
you are serving in some type of way, but your work life is ministry.
Mm-hmm.
You go in, like you said, the Walmart
Yeah.
is a
Come on.
ministry. I also think about like whenever my mom and me go out to town, go like we go to Raleigh, we go to the flea market, something.
Yeah.
There's going to be somebody who points us out like
Yeah.
they're a little strange. It's a little strange. It's always going to happen. If you hang out with us, you're going to have somebody random come up, but at the same time, it's a way for us to show Jesus. It's a way
For
for us
sure.
to be the light and just be friendly to them.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes these people look a little homeless
Mm.
and stuff, but like you just you just show them Jesus. You
Yeah.
just treat
Yeah.
them like normal people, and
For
you just
sure.
um, if even if they're acting strange, you just carry on the
Yeah.
conversation, and
Yeah.
then if you feel a little threatened, back away slowly. But
Yes.
it's okay.
Right.
But I just thought like that's what popped in my mind when you talked about missions. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, every day is ministry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like everywhere you go, you just show a
Yes.
little bit of Jesus.
Right, for sure. And it does. It makes an impact, those like little moments. And again, just we were shared like tools that we can use to like bring up the gospel in like conversational ways and things like that. And so, it's not always you have to like beat somebody over the head with the Bible. Like it's
Mhm.
truly, just the words that you say to them, your words, like you said in a video I saw on TikTok the other day, how, there truly is life and death in the power of the tongue. And
Mhm.
so just truly a kind word goes so far, and just showing interest and being curious about what's going on in people's lives. You truly can just use what you learn about them to better cater to them and deliver the gospel in a way that will stick with them and impact them.
Exactly. I also want to talk about so when I saw that you were going to Tennessee in the middle of summer, I was really shocked
You know, me too.
because
Me too.
because I remember you being so scared of bugs,
Yes, I don't like flies. I don't like ants. I don't like critters, creatures, any of it.
and I was like, she's
No,
going to the mountains
no,
where
no.
there's going to be bugs everywhere.
Yes, yes. And
Um,
bears. Bigger than bugs. Bears. My goodness.
did you
But
see a
yeah.
bear?
Oh, I saw 72 bears, and I got a bear tattoo to show that I can do hard things. That was my present to myself upon leaving Gatlinburg. But yeah, so that's something else. The Lord definitely took me out of my comfort zone and just truly made it all about Him. Like, there is no way that Nakyah 2 years ago would have agreed to one, go on a mission trip and spend all summer in a place that's not home, and go to the mountains. I'm a beach person. I don't really like the mountains.
Yeah.
And also out with in the mountains with the critters and creatures and all the things. And but he truly did, like, through that whole experience, just took me out of my comfort zone, pruned me a lot, and just truly, I think, sent me back here with just a whole different just perspective and outlook on um, just what I'm able to do because of him, or what he's able to do through
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Well, I knew it was a work of God because I
Yes.
was like, she's going to the mountains
Oh, man.
in the middle of the summer. So,
Yes. Uh,
but I love that for you.
thanks.
So I want to go from that to you and your friend have a podcast together. I that you were actually one of the inspirations for me to start a podcast.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I feel like it was out of my comfort zone, but I feel like God
Mhm.
really used you because it was around the same time. I've told this on the podcast before, but it was around the same time when I went to the first men's encounter with New Life that God put in my heart to start a podcast,
Mm,
and I was like, my me with words is not the best.
mm.
Everyday life, every time I mess up a word, I'm like, can you believe I have a podcast?
And see, come on.
Like, I,
Uh,
it's you know.
yeah.
But anyway, um, but also you came out with a podcast at the same time, and I was like, if Nakyah can do it, I can do
Right.
it.
Come on.
And I always knew like you were special, like with how you like treat people, but also you have a way with like your
Mm,
words and stuff.
mm.
So I was like, podcast fits Nakyah. Um, but yeah, so tell us a little bit about that podcast and why y'all started that.
Yeah, so my friend Jada and I, we started a podcast called Love You Sweets, and we haven't put out an episode in a while, but you can still go listen to the ones that are on Apple Music and Spotify and things like that. But yeah, whenever we get together and we talk, and our friends, they listen to our banter and they laugh and things like that. So it definitely started out as more of a joke than anything. We were just like, let's start a podcast. Let's talk about things that go on in everyday life, and people will laugh and whatever. But we were like, wow, like this will also be a great ministry opportunity. We both heavily involved in the campus ministry crew at UNC Wilmington, and just have had a lot of experience going on different retreats and trips and conferences and things like that, or even just being on campus and just intentionally seeking people out to have gospel conversations with. And so the Lord has definitely worked a lot through our friendship and through both of us. And she's definitely one of those people that the Lord put into my life at such a specific time. And just wow, I could write a book about her. Maybe I will one day. But so we were like, let's talk about the things that we experience. And so the Lord definitely used that. And there would be people, we'd be going around campus and we see people and they'd be like, oh my gosh, like I listened to you guys' podcast, crazy things, people we've never talked to before. So the Lord definitely, like when He gives you a platform, He will use it
Mhm.
intentionally. And I think that's, He's just shown that so evidently through our podcast. And so I hope that we can get back and record some more episodes and um, just continue to talk about Jesus.
Please do because I love
Yeah.
it. You said that people around campus they will stop you and be like, "I've never seen you on the podcast." That's happened to me too.
That's
It's happened to
crazy.
me at random places. It's happened to me at my job for
Oh my
people I don't even know.
goodness.
They're like, "I've seen you on the podcast." I'm like, "Who are you?" I was like, I thought only my people at church watched this.
Oh, I
No,
love it.
people in Tarboro, North Carolina is watching this
I
too.
love it.
So, yes, I love that we experienced the same stuff.
Yes, come on.
So I want to talk about. So you talked about your ministry crew.
Mhm.
So, what exactly did you do in that ministry? Like, what was it evolved around? Was it evolved around the college, or was it with a church, or what?
Yeah, so it was involved around the campus at UNC Wilmington, and we just really, our goal was just to have everyone on campus know someone who personally knows Jesus. And so we had weekly meetings every Thursday. We would do what we call community groups, so just getting together in kind of smaller groups, and we would go through a book of the Bible or anything like that, and really just just really trying to train people up to send them out. And when you leave and graduate from Wilmington, you can go out into the world and feel confident about, what the Lord has done in your life and feel confident in talking to other people about that. And so we will go on all types of retreats and again, conferences and mission trips and all those types of things. And yeah, I think that's truly where I think my faith has always been something that I think I've been just kind of keeping to myself. And so the Lord has definitely been just filling me up with a lot of things. And so, but I didn't really know an outlet to tell other people about. And so just the idea of evangelism when I got to UNC Wilmington was something that I hadn't even really thought about, but something that crew emphasizes a lot. And
Mhm.
so getting out of my comfort zone, talking to people about things that I probably would never have talked to them about, and just bringing Jesus into everyday conversation. And that's what crew has built me up on. And so I just definitely feel a lot more confident going out into the world and having graduated and starting a job and just all these things, just going and again, being conversational about the gospel. And it doesn't have to be something that's out of left field. Like it can be something that you integrate in
Mhm.
every conversation that you have.
I love that. I love how um you were talking about like the mission for it was that everybody at the college knew somebody who actually knew Jesus.
Mhm.
I think it's a breath of fresh air
Mhm.
because our generation doesn't have the best rep right now.
Yeah, that's very
People
true.
don't really like our generation because
Mhm.
they think that we're messing up a lot of things.
Mhm.
And to be honest,
You
some
know,
of it we are.
that's
We are.
real.
But I think that there's a lot of things that we don't get credit for,
Mhm.
and we're taking a stand at college. Like,
Yeah,
people think that we just go to college to party, but no, we're
right.
Nakyah is going to college to share to
She
share
is. She's
Jesus.
trying.
So I
Yes.
love that. So you talked about graduating and then starting a job. I read your post about your job that you're starting, and I wanted you to share like a little bit about how God placed that because you said it so beautifully in your post, and I was amazed and also like praising God with you because I was like,
Mhm.
that is so awesome. So yeah, share a little bit about that.
Yes, so I'll be going back to UNC Wilmington and working in the admissions office as a transfer admissions coordinator. And so, again, the Lord just truly places people in your life at such a perfect time. I started working in the admissions office as a student during the second half of my junior year. And so I worked there that first semester and just completely fell in love with it. And I was like, I would love to come back and work here full time at some point in my life if I can. And so throughout my senior year, I worked as kind of a student manager. And so managing all the other students that worked in the office as well. And just made some really, really great connections. And so coming out of it, there was no full time position open. But out of nowhere, someone quit. I was like, this is my time. And so I applied. And again, the Lord just truly opens doors. And I think, the Lord truly, He sees the desires of your heart, and He will open doors when He sees that it's something that, He can work through you in. And so I'm so excited to start working there and just really see how the Lord's just going to continue to work through that position. And again, there are even people there that I've able to had kind of the foundations of like gospel conversations with. So I'm so excited to go back and continue those conversations and, get to know people more and just make more friends.
Yes, I love that. I love how God worked in that way. Um, hate that a person quits.
I know, sorry for them. Like, they moved on to another position. They're not unemployed. So
Well, that's
great things
good.
for them. The Lord opened a door for them too.
That is good, but
Yeah.
it was a blessing for you. So I
Yes.
love that. But yeah. So is there anything else you want to share before we close out?
I don't think so. I'm just really proud of you and
Thank
starting this
you.
podcast and just seeing how the Lord is working through you and in you. And it's just so cool to
Oh,
see.
I love you.
I love you.
I'm truly blessed to have you as a friend, and I'm proud of you too. Like I'm really like was telling my mom and my coworkers earlier. I was like, I'm so proud of her. But thank you for being on,
Of
and
course.
continue being the light at the campus. And then if you ever move to something else, be a
Yeah,
light there.
right.
But I'm gonna go ahead and end. Thank you for tuning in to Jesus the Overcomer podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like and share it to your friends. See you next time.